This video is going to be the most comprehensive, in-depth, step-by-step tutorial of ActiveCampaign from someone who has literally made millions of dollars inside their business using it. If you're new to the channel, what's going on? My name is Ravi Abuvala, founder of Scaling with Systems, where we build client acquisition machines for our clients. And one of the ways that we do that is through ActiveCampaign. It's through email marketing and email automation. Whether you're just getting started using ActiveCampaign, maybe you're shopping around to different softwares, or even maybe you have 10, 20, 30, 50,000 email subscribers already on ActiveCampaign, this video will be for you. In this video, I'm going to be covering when it's the right time to use ActiveCampaign, how to start your free trial on ActiveCampaign, really the only two features that we use on ActiveCampaign to make millions of dollars, some examples of our best converting newsletters and email templates, and finally, how we set up ActiveCampaign automations to increase the efficiency of our lead generation and client acquisition processes. I'm going to drop timestamps down below. So for example, if you already have an ActiveCampaign account, you just want to skip ahead to how we're using it, you can skip to that section. Or if you're just starting out, you can start right here. Also, for my more advanced users, in the very beginning, I'm going to show you a brand new ActiveCampaign account and how I would set it up. And then I'm actually going to flip over to our ActiveCampaign account that has literally hundreds of thousands of emails sent, tens of thousands of contacts inside of it. I'm going to walk you through what an experienced and usable ActiveCampaign account looks like. So let's dive right in. So let's first start off with when you would use ActiveCampaign. Now, ActiveCampaign can do a lot of things for your business, and depending on what you're looking for, it may or may not be the right fit for it. So I'm just going to break down what we personally use ActiveCampaign for. The two main things that we use ActiveCampaign for inside of our 8-figure business are email newsletters and email blasts and email automations. Now, ActiveCampaign also has, a CRM. I think it has texting capabilities. It has a bunch of other things as well. But in our experience, those aren't advanced enough or as comprehensive enough as we'd like. And although it would be nice to have everything all wrapped in one, I'd rather just use ActiveCampaign for what I see as the best features on it and use other softwares that I also have descriptions for in my YouTube channel that for the other things that I need them to do. And also a really big misconception for how you can use ActiveCampaign is for cold emailing. And that is absolutely and totally incorrect. Actually, if you try to cold email from your ActiveCampaign account, they will ban your account. I know it happened to me over 3 years ago. So imagine cold emailing you should be doing using other softwares or your main CRM, and ActiveCampaign should be for people that have already opted in or they're already warm and nurtured and know who you are to send email newsletters, email blasts, and to give updates for and do automations. All right, so let's say you're signing up for ActiveCampaign for the first time. There's a link in the description down below that you can use to sign up with it, and you're going to get taken to a page that looks just like this. You go to the email address section right here, and you type in whatever email address you want to. I'm going to type in a new email address that I don't have set up with ActiveCampaign yet, and then I'm going to say start your free trial, right? As soon as this page loads, it's going to take me to another page that says welcome. You enter your name in, Ravi, enter your phone number, which I'll just blur that out, hit next steps. Now, for me personally, when I'm setting this stuff up, I kind of just skip through all this stuff here. How many employees do you have? 6 to 20, what industry you're in? You can decide if you want to do this or not, but realistically, I'm not that interested in it. Now, the interesting is, what are you currently using? The reason they ask that is because they also want to show you, as I'm going to show you in this video, how you can import your current leads from other places into ActiveCampaign. So let's just say I have everything on Google Sheets. I'm going to click on Google Sheets right here. And then finally, let's type in my password. So let's just say subscribe to Ravi's channel, and I click take me to my account. It's finishing up the account creation process, and then when we're gonna get on here, we should see the dashboard. If we go, so it takes you to the automations, we're just gonna go to the main up left-hand little button here, and you can see the dashboard. So right now it's gonna walk me through the whole setup, but I'm just gonna do it for you here. This is the main dashboard when you get inside of ActiveCampaign. So on the left-hand side, you have contacts, campaigns, automations, deals, conversations, lists, site reports. Like I said, this video is gonna be just like, how do you quick start using ActiveCampaign? I don't even use all of the things on this software myself. The main things that I personally use are campaigns, which we're going to get into in a moment here, to send updates and newsletters, email blasts, try to get more booked appointments for our company, and automations. And that's so that I have new emails being sent out every single day. If you know anything about scaling with systems, I love automations, and so I'd rather have it so that they're getting sent emails without me having to do anything. Everything else is a little bit extra, and I don't think you really need to use it. Okay, you can see how many contacts you have up here. You can see see any kind of automations that you have over here, your campaigns you have over here, top contacts that are responding back, etc., and then recent activity on the right-hand side. So if this is the first time using ActiveCampaign, but you do use a CRM currently, or you have an email list somewhere else, then the first thing we're going to want to do is to import our contacts to ActiveCampaign so we can start sending them emails and converting them into customers. And what we're going to do is click on the contacts tab in the top left version of the screen right here. And then as you can see right now, it just says I have one email and it's my email address, as you can see here. But there's two options you have. One of the things I love about ActiveCampaign compared to other softwares is that they have this request a free migration button right here. So ActiveCampaign will actually help you get on a call and migrate all of your current leads and lists and everybody that you have from another platform over to ActiveCampaign. They'll do it on a call with you. But for us right here, if you go in the top right hand corner, you can see there's an import button right there. And I would just do that personally because I know what I'm looking for, but maybe you're not so tech savvy. You can do request a free migration. So I'm going to click import right here. And it's going to take me to this page and it shows, hey, all these services will do it automatically. Asana, Zendesk Sell, Close.io, any one of these different softwares right here. But I'm going to say import from file. And let's really quickly talk about what exactly you should be importing into ActiveCampaign. So like I said before, you shouldn't be doing cold contacts that don't know who you are. Ideally, what you should be doing is people that have opted into your website. They've got on a newsletter. A lot of things that people don't think about is people that have booked appointments with you. Maybe even current clients if you want to send them updates or you want to upsell them into something else. So you can do literally leads, opt-ins, booked appointments, people inside of your Facebook group if you have their email address, whatever else you want to in here. And I'm going to show you how we segregate that a little bit later. But for now, let's click import from file. And then if we go over to desktop, I already have a CSV file that I've created right there. So we're going to click booked calls. So these are all the people that have booked calls, in the past 10 days for our company. And I'm going to say, no thanks, just import to my limit because there's multiple plans for ActiveCampaign. I have the highest plan, but this is a free account. So I'm just going to say, nope, do the limit. And then I have 4 different columns inside of my CSV file. First one's going to be email. Next one's going to be phone. Next one's your first name, and next one's going to be last name. So we want to map that on here. So email, this one should be phone number. This one should be first name. And this one should be last name. Okay. I'm going to talk about lists here in a moment about how importing people in a list. But for now, we're just going to keep the master contact list. And then if you wanted to add tags, like, maybe they've been booked appointments. So you want to say booked appointment. And I'm going to show you why that's important a little bit later as well. Okay. And then I'm going to click import now. It's going to take maybe 30 seconds or a minute to upload the 100 contacts that I have in here. Once again, I think you have a limit of 100, but you can do a paid plan in order to get more than 100 people in there. And as it's importing, I'm going to walk you through another feature on ActiveCampaign, which I really love, which is called the ActiveCampaign List. Now, this is important because what happens is a lot of times when we're sending emails, we don't want to send an email blast or an email automation to just every single person that we have on the list because you have leads, you got booked appointments, you got people that have been, watching your emails for a year, you got people who just joined, you got people who are customers. And so you don't want to send them all the same email. And one of the ways you can segregate that is using a list. So if you see, this is the list feature. It's on the bottom left side of the ActiveCampaign dashboard. And you can click add a list right here. So, you can create your own list, which I'm going to do, but they give you a few options right here. So let's say for the ones we just did, we'll say booked appointments. Okay. And we're going to click add. And now using automation, like such as a software called Zapier, which I have a tutorial that I'll link in the description down below, or even just a direct integration from a software called ClickFunnels, which I also have a tutorial. You can leave the link down below. You can import people that book an appointment with you using Calendly or Acuity or whatever else directly into this ActiveCampaign list as soon as they come in. You can add them to the master list and the booked appointment list immediately. Okay. So what I would do right now is if you're setting this up alongside of me, I would go ahead and create a booked appointment list, maybe a customer list, maybe a lead list, just to get started so you know the difference between the different people that are coming inside of there. All right. So let's quickly hop back over to where our imports are. It says your import has been completed. I would say manage contacts because now what I want to do is really quickly add these people. So I'm going to click edit all, add to a list right here, and I can add them to the booked appointments list. Click add and apply. So now all these people are now in my booked appointment list because they're all booked appointments in my company. Now at this point, I could click on one of these contacts and I could show you one of the 50 things you can do with a contact. I can decide of here, add notes, add all these different things. But like I said before, I'm trying to keep this as absolutely simple for you as possible so you can get started and actually use it instead of getting overwhelmed. So the only other thing I want to show you before we dive into the actual email sending and email automations are going to be tags. So if you see on the left-hand side here, you can see manage tags. We're going to click on that. And I already created one like you saw below called booked appointment when I imported this list here. But tags are just another way that you can segregate your list further. So you can tag people anytime they visit your website. You can tag people, anytime they open an email. You can tag people when they open a specific email. You can tag people when they become a customer. So you want to keep in mind the different lists and tags you can use in order to send highly curated emails. So let me give you an example, which I'm going to dive more in depth when I show you my used ActiveCampaign account we use for our company. So one of the things that we personally do is we search for when people are opening emails and when people aren't opening emails. So I want to only continue to send emails to people that are opening my emails. If people aren't opening my emails and they're in an email automation, then I don't want to keep on sending them an email, because then they're eventually going to unsubscribe and it's going to hurt my deliverability of ActiveCampaign. So instead, one of the things we'll do is anytime someone opens an email, we'll add a tag for engaged, meaning they engaged with my emails. And then whenever I'm doing email automation, which I'll show you in a moment, we send an email and then we send another email and then we look and say, does this person have the tag engaged? Yes or no? Yes, continue to send them emails. No, stop sending them emails. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. I know that was a little advanced and I'm gonna get into the automations here in a moment, but I wouldn't worry too much about tags right now. The only main thing you should worry about is importing the contacts you have, creating 1 or 2 or 3 lists, and then making it so that any new contacts coming in are automatically being added to those lists. And if you wanted to get a little more advanced, you can add the tags on that list as well. Hey, really quickly, if you guys are getting value out of this video, please be sure to smash the like button and consider subscribing. I put up videos like this every single week, 3 times a week, and all I ask for in return is just to smash the subscribe button. Okay, so now you should have your ActiveCampaign quick startup guide done. You should have your contacts imported, you should have your list created, maybe a few tags. And now what I'm gonna do is actually switch over to the ActiveCampaign account that I'm using right now and show you the only 2 main things you need to pay attention to in ActiveCampaign in order to see the most success. So here is one of my company's ActiveCampaign account. As you can see, we have about 70,000 contacts inside this one. And like I said, we're literally sending hundreds of thousands of emails through this one account right here. So pay attention to what I'm talking about because I'm gonna give you exact templates and automations you can use. So dashboard is obviously pretty much the exact same that I showed before. And the 2 things I want to show you before we dive into the rest of the video here is I just want to show you an example of a few of the lists that we have here. So you can see, I have lists from one of our free trainings, which is a 3 steps to scaling course, opt-ins. We have people that buy mastermind tickets from us, people that book calls with us, people that purchase, people that complete an application to speak with us. So those are the ways I just want to show you from inside a real account. Those are some of the different lists that we have. And if I was actually to hop back over to tags to show you the difference of them real quick, kind of similar things as well. So these are different tags that we have for different sales letters that we're testing out, applied but didn't book a time, thank you, a page confirmation, they booked a call. We curate about 70% of the people that apply to speak with us. So, that way we're not sending them emails still. Specific mastermind tickets holders. So, we have, this one, you can see there's a mastermind ticket over 1219, one for 49, one for 528. So we host multiple masterminds every single year and we can put them on they've bought a mastermind ticket with us list, and then the tag we can use could be for the actual specific mastermind that they use. So just really quickly, I wanted to show you what that looks like so you can get a better understanding. I see a lot of the other videos out there and it's like a bare bones ActiveCampaign account. So I wanted to show you one that has a little bit of, elbow grease in it, a little bit of usage, a little bit of character, if you will. Okay, so now let's talk about what the heck do you do with all of these contacts that you actually have and how we use ActiveCampaign to make literally millions of dollars extra we wouldn't have made before inside our business. So one of the main things I want you to pay attention to is something called campaigns. Now, campaigns are pretty much going to be your email blast, your email newsletters, if you will. And when I first started my business, I never used ActiveCampaign and I never did email campaigns. And then I went to a mastermind and someone talked about how they made all of their money literally from sending email blasts out. And that's when it kind of hit me. Wow, I have this email list of people that are following me, that like me, that know me, that trust me. And one of the ways I can stay ahead of them or in front of them is through email blasts. And I'm not talking about boring email newsletters that most companies do that's like, here's our employee of the month or whatever the heck else it is. I'm talking about really well-written email campaigns that sends them new, YouTube videos. Actually, a lot of you that are watching this probably got one of my YouTube video email campaign, or maybe it's a case study, or maybe it's a new training I'm offering, all with different calls to action to get people to watch my YouTube video, or to watch this free training, or to book a time to speak with our team. So I can use these campaigns to increase the efficiency. Let's say, for instance, usually without emails, we convert 5% of leads into paying customers inside of our company. Well, with emails, you can convert 8 to 10% of leads to paying customers because they're getting emails in their inbox every day or every week from you, okay? So now that you understand the different campaigns we launch and why we use campaigns, let's just create one really quickly. Typically, what I do is I literally just come in here and I'll duplicate, as you can see right here, one of the ones that we've already done in the past, because I know that those work really well and I can get started really quickly. But if you're watching this, you probably want to see like me start one from scratch. So I'm going to click create a campaign, but I also want to create one, like, let's see here, create one that I've already done so you can see the templates of some of the emails that we send. So I'm going to duplicate this Tucker Ring the Bell. So this is a client of ours, and I'm going to click on it and I'm going to click on next. I do the standard one, not split testing, not any of this other stuff. You can change the name right here. You click next. Then this is where the lists come into play here. So on here, I can select which exact list I want to be sending this email to. Maybe just leads, maybe just booked appointments. So that way you can send really curated content. For me, what I typically do is I send the master email list that has majority of our contacts on there. And then I'll actually create a segment on the bottom. And this is something that a lot of people don't talk about, and a lot of people don't know. But what you can actually do is create a segment. So I have people that are engaged, not in automation, for scaling with systems, because we have 2 different offers, not paid, not in automation, people that have opened a previous email. So I can say, hey, ActiveCampaign, I want to send this email blast to everybody that's on my contact list, but make sure you segregate them. They have to be from a scaling with systems funnel. They have to have not paid us money yet, and they're not currently in an automation, which we'll talk about here in a moment. So you can create new segments. I'll click this really quickly so I can just show you what it looks like. We'll just click add your first condition. So, let's say contact details, the tag exists for, let's say, I don't know, we'll do applied but didn't book a time. So these are all the people that applied on our website to speak with us, but they didn't actually book a time after they applied. And I click done right here, and then it's going to shorten this list from 48,000 to whatever the few thousand people that have applied and not booked a time on our calendar. Okay. So then we click next, and then boom, here's the email that I've already created. So it makes it really easy for me just to change the words inside of this into a new email for whatever the new ring the bell or new case study that I have for my clients. But let's say, for example, you don't already have templates you can use. If you go back to create a campaign, we could just say scaling with systems, client testimonial. We click on enter, go to the next page, choose the list that you want to choose. We'll just say the master email list, the segment if you want to add a segment. Click on next in the top right-hand corner here. And then you can just use the templates if you wanted to. Now, once again, for me and how I like to write emails, I don't really think these templates are anything that great. Let's say, for example, maybe this one I would use this template. You could say the subject line is client testimonial, continue, and then boom. Now you're starting, I could add my logo up there. You're starting with, your client testimonial. You could have any words that you want to down here, and then you can add a link right here. So let's say I wanted to send them to our booking page, scalingwithsystems.com/apply. Cool. And they'd go to the booking page if they click that button right there. Okay, so obviously really similar, but you can see that I personally make my emails a little bit more interactive. I put a little more energy inside of it because I want people to enjoy my emails, which I get compliments on my emails all the time. Okay, I'm not going to go too in depth on the options and what you can do when you're sending emails on the right hand side here, because once again, you can just type this out and already be 80% ahead of everybody else that's watching this video right here. And then for this one, it's the same thing. So let's actually click next on this one, like we're about to send it out. Let's say I added all the changes that I wanted to inside of it. The subject line, you can make the subject line anything you want to do. Cool thing about the pre-header text is the pre-header text is actually what they see after they see the subject line. So a lot of people don't realize this, but when you send an email out, you actually see the subject line, and then you see like 8 to 10 words of whatever the first 8 to 10 words of the email are. And you want a really high open rate on emails, and a good open rate is like 30 to 40 to 50%. And one of the ways you can do that is by typing in a pre-header text that has curiosity a part of it. So let me actually, for just the sake of it, let's change the subject line to something like how Tucker got, paid. One of the ones that we've done before is like Disney princesses $100,000 and Noah's Ark, right? I know you don't think these things go together, but Tucker here proved us all wrong. Okay. So, curiosity driven on the first thing. Obviously, you have to be talking about Noah's Ark, Disney Princess at $100,000, but you want to have a curiosity driven subject line and pre-header text so people are like, what the heck is this guy talking about? What does he mean? And then they're going to click and open the email. Okay. The from is the name of your company or the name of you, the email that you want to associate with that. We have all emails replied to our main domain, which is so we can pay attention to what everybody's saying back. I actually look at those emails myself. If you ever respond to an email, you automatically generate a text version of the email, enable mobile responsiveness. We always turn those on. You can send a test email if you want to see what it looks like. Look at what a preview would look like. So let's just say desktop preview. Actually, you won't be able to see this because of the software I'm using, but anyway, you can preview it. And then finally, whenever it's done, you can either schedule the email to be sent. So if I scroll down here, I can click schedule right here. Your campaign is scheduled. So turn it on. Let's say I want it to be sent tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. EST. And then I click finish and it would send tomorrow. Or if I take that off, the button changed to send now and it would send the email right now. Okay. I'm not a lawyer, but in the United States, if you're sending business solicitation emails, you need to have your address, your company address inside of there, or it is illegal. And you need to be able to have them unsubscribe, which ActiveCampaign automatically lets them do. So I'm not going to get into this stuff right here because once again, just the bare minimum, but that is how you set up and send your first ActiveCampaign email newsletter. And that's how we do it inside of our company. Okay, so at this point, you have your contacts inside of ActiveCampaign. You've segregated them on list and on tags. You send up your first email campaign, your email newsletter. You sent it out to leads or booked appointments or customers. And now let's talk about ActiveCampaign automations, which is really the only other feature I think you should be using in ActiveCampaign in order to keep things simple. So if you go to the left-hand side here, underneath where campaigns are, you should see a button that says automations. And what an ActiveCampaign automation is instead of you every day having to come inside of here, go to your campaigns, type out an email and send it, you can make it so that whenever someone joins your email list or joins a certain list or gets a certain tag inside your email list, they start an ActiveCampaign automation, which sends them a certain amount of emails over a certain time frame under certain conditions. Now, I have a much more in-depth ActiveCampaign automation tutorial where I walk you through literally the exact ActiveCampaign automations we use inside of our company in another YouTube video that I'll link down below. But let me just give you a highlight of what this looks like here. So inside of ActiveCampaign, you can actually create an automation in this top right-hand side here that makes it so that whenever someone joins a list or gets a tag, they're sent these emails. And just to give you an example, like for us right now, I'm going to open up this Zapier guide email. We have another YouTube video on how we use Zapier. I walk through literally the top 20 Zaps we use in our 8-figure company. And at the end of it, I say, hey, do you want access to all of these Zaps in a guide so you can copy and paste them inside of your Zapier account? And I say, if you do, go to this website and enter in your email. Well, what happens is once they enter in that email, they get added to a list called Zapier Guide. And instantly, as soon as they're added to that list, we send them the Zapier guide in the welcome email. So I don't have to wait for them to join the list. And then I have to they get notified that they got the list. And I have to go in and type in an email. Hey, here's a list back to them. No, it's all automated. So on their own, they get an email automation from me that says, hey, thanks so much for opting in. Here's the list of Zapier Zaps that you wanted to get access to. What makes ActiveCampaign automations cool is that I can actually set up a feature so that you can wait a certain amount of hours. There's a condition you can set up a wait thing. So I wait 8 hours and then I invite them to one of our video sales letters that covers how to scale your business to $100,000 plus a month. So I know they're interested in potentially my company and the services we provide because they opted in to get this stuff. So I know they're qualified. So a few hours later, without me having to do anything, they get another email that says, hey, thanks so much for getting the guide. If you want more free training just like this, click the link in the description down below and get access to this training here. So once again, without me having to do anything, this person watched a YouTube video, which I just set up one time. They got the Zapier guide through an email automation, which I set up one time. And then they started watching a training that's going to then convert them into a booked appointment on my team's calendar. All automated, all systemized. This is exactly what I built for my clients inside of Scaling with Systems. And that's how we're so profitable, is because the majority of the stuff we do is automated and we get the most juice out of every single lead that we have. And I'll continue. I'll send them more trainings at the bottom of this as well. And then at the end of it, I actually have them enter into another automation at the end of this automation. So hopefully that's understanding what an automation is. And then really quickly, what we can do is actually create one from scratch. So we'll click create an automation. You can make it whatever you want to do inside of here. They have a bunch of different emails. I'm going to say start from scratch right here and click continue. For my clients inside of Scaling with Systems, we actually give them all of these automations. They just literally click import an automation. They put the URL and they get every automation that we have inside of our 8-figure company automatically imported into theirs. But let's go back and say you're not part of Scaling with Systems for whatever reason. And you click start from scratch. You click on continue. You need a trigger to start sending the email. So the way an automation works, it needs to be if this, then that. So if this happens, then let's start sending them emails. Okay, so subscribes to a list, unsubscribes from a list, submits a form, opens an email, clicks a link. The easiest one that I usually do is just subscribe to a list. You can select any list that you want. So let's say we'll do the Zapier one. So Zapier guide list. I only wanted to run one time in case they opt into that funnel multiple times. You can even segment it more. So they can do the Zapier guide only if, they don't, let's say for example, I only want them to come into this if they do not have the tag paid customer, right? Because I don't want to be trying to continue to sell my paid customers. So I don't want them to have the tag paid customer. So they got the Zapier automation guide, but they don't have the tag paid customer. And then you can see on here the multiple different things you can do: sending options, conditions and workflows, subscribe, unsubscribe, et cetera, et cetera. But let's just say we want to send them an email. So create an email to get started. And I would just say, Zapier guide. And then I'd say something like giving guide, giving them the guide. Something easy so I can know what it's about. And then just like we created a campaign, you would create an email here from scratch and walk them through that entire process, making it, hey, thanks so much for opting in. Here's the link to the guide, et cetera, et cetera. Now let me save and exit out of this and give you a few more tips about automations that you probably didn't know about. So I'm gonna click save here. And then at this point, I can usually set up a condition. So maybe we'll say, let's wait for a day before we send them another email. And maybe we wanna say, let's wait for a day, but then conditions only if they have opened the last email. So let's say Zapier guide, giving them the guide. So so we wait one day, have they opened the email? No, they haven't opened it. Then let's just say we'd end this automation right now. I don't want to keep on sending them emails if they haven't opened it. They have opened it. Well, let's go back to sending options, click send an email, create a new email, and we'd create a new email from scratch. So this one says Zapier guide. Ask them to book a call. Okay, click create. Once again, I can use a previous campaign. I could just use this one right here. I'm gonna click save and exit, but I hope that you're starting to understand ActiveCampaign and how we use it inside of our company here. And there's a bunch of different features and contacts, and subscribe them and unsubscribe them. You can use webhooks in here, which we use sometimes, which means that, hey, if they open this email, then send a webhook to another software, like maybe the CRM that lets us know that we opened that email. So you can get really creative with that stuff, but it's not necessarily when you just get started. So finally, we're gonna just name this Zapier guide is the name of the automation, which you can do by just clicking this little button in the top left or clicking that name right there. And the only other thing I want to tell you about automations, which is really important, hopefully you guys are getting value out of this. If you are, please let me know. I'm losing my voice here. The only other important thing I want to tell you is the way that I like to build automations is what I'll do is I'll actually send a campaign first. So let me go to my campaigns. I'll actually send a campaign first. And then if the campaign does well, so you can actually view the reports of the campaign, let's say right here, you can view the reports of the campaign, how many opened, how many clicked on it. And if it did well, what I could actually do, let's say, so we're hiring a new team member inside of our company. Let's say that I wanted to add that for whatever reason to the bottom of this automation that we're creating here. I would just send an email, create a new email, Zapier guide, success coach. It doesn't really make sense in this context, but I hope you guys are getting value out of this. And I could go to past campaigns under templates here, and I could click hiring success coach, and boom. Now it's going to import automatically the email that I already created in the campaigns. So just to be clear here, what I'll do is I send email campaigns first, and then if it converts well, I'll then put those into automation. So now any new leads that I get are gonna get that same email that's already worked well for the current leads that I have. So hopefully you guys caught that. That's a little secret that if you actually know email automations, that was worth the value of you watching this entire video in itself. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, literally the exact step-by-step guide on how we use ActiveCampaign inside of our 8-figure company to be more profitable and make more money. I showed you everything from starting your free trial, importing your contacts, setting up your lists and segregating them, setting up your first email blast, and then setting up the automations to continue to nurture leads without you having to do any extra work. If you are already running an established online business, there'll be some links in the description down below that can get you some additional training on how we help other businesses scale to $100,000 plus a month. And as discussed earlier, you should see on your screen right now 2 more videos you should watch. Number 1 is going to be our Zapier guide, the same one that I gave the example for in here, the 20 best automations we use inside of our company, and the ActiveCampaign automation tutorial. So all of the automations that we have, what each one of those look like, and how you can import those into your business today. I'll see you guys in the next video.